So what are these hope and fear mechanics you've heard about in Daggerheart? What do you mean I don't roll a d20? 2d12? That seems pretty crazy. But it's not. The hope and fear mechanics are awesome in Daggerheart, the new TTRPG from the fine folks at Critical Role and Darrington Press, and we're going to dive into that right now. My name is Hunter Grunman from Side21, so let's go over hope and fear. So, usually in a TTRPG, when you want to make a roll or a check of any kind, you'd be rolling a d20. However, in Daggerheart, they kind of flipped that concept on its head. Instead of a d20, you'll roll 2d12. One of those d12 will be what's called your hope die, and the other d12 will be your fear die. Now, I recommend getting two very different looking d12s, that way you can tell which is which when you are making your rolls. So let's give some examples of what that might look like. Say you roll both your d12, you get a 5 on your hope die and a 3 on your fear die for a total of 8, but the hope die was higher, so it would be an 8 with hope. Now, when you roll a roll with hope, you get a hope point. You can use these hope points for all sorts of things, like helping an ally, utilizing one of your past experiences, initiating a tag team roll so you can bring one of your other players at the table into the action, or you can activate one of your hope features. And each class typically has a different hope feature that, using 3 hope points, you can activate. Now say the die roll a different way. Say maybe you have a 7 on the fear die and a 5 on your hope die. That's going to be a total of 12 with fear because the fear die was higher. So what happens when you roll a 12 with fear? The DC may have been a successful or unsuccessful check, like maybe you only needed a 10 on this specific roll, but nevertheless it was a 12 with fear. So you may succeed on your check, but a few things happen when you roll with fear. The first of which is your GM is going to get a fear point. Now, your GM can use fear points for all sorts of things, such as activating other enemies on the battlefield or even initiating one of their abilities. But most importantly, if you roll with fear, the spotlight, or who's in the action in Daggerheart, is going to shift to the GM, making it their turn. So, rolling with fear, you can still succeed on your check, however, it will have some negative consequences. So you may be wondering, no d20s means no natural 20s. How do I get a critical hit in Daggerheart? The answer is simple. If you roll doubles on your hope and fear die, so 2 8s, 2 12s, 2 5s, any of those combinations will score you a critical hit with the hope and fear die in Daggerheart. So that's a quick breakdown of the way that the hope and fear die work in Daggerheart. Using 2 different d12s instead of a d20 adds a cool dynamic to the game where you can really shift the tide. If you roll really high and succeed with hope, you might get an excellent outcome, exactly what you wanted. But if you roll really low with fear, you may not only fail the check, but also give the GM more tools to use against you. So yeah, hopefully that was a decent breakdown of the way that the hope and fear mechanics work with the 2d12 in Daggerheart. We're going to do a lot more of these videos. We're going to break down lots of different aspects of this brand new TTRPG, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.